from our Tasmanian headquarters, this is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. An urgent summit has identified 9 key solutions to address Tasmania's intensifying housing crisis, with a lack of supply crippling the market. Fast-track legislation will help unlock government-owned land for new construction, but a limited workforce will likely delay the process.
This is the result of a housing market under intensifying pressure. An urgent summit today gathering more than 30 peak industry bodies to work through a solution, hoping to provide relief for those forced into homelessness due to a lack of supply.
In the last 8 months, we're getting really low vacancy rates, particularly critical in Hobart. So the issue is deteriorating quite rapidly.
This is a national issue as well. It's not something that has suddenly appeared unexpectedly in Tasmania.
The summit identifying 9 key solutions, notably the release of almost 240 hectares of government land to construct new homes, fast-track legislation to accelerate the required zoning changes, a 100% land tax rebate to encourage long-term rentals, matching available stock to maximise the use of properties, and data-sharing partnerships to better manage the rise in short-stay accommodation, none seen as an immediate fix.
There will need to be, between now and pretty much the end of June, a range of short-term responses coming online.
We simply need more homes to be built in Tasmania. That's the bottom line.
Efforts to boost housing supply set to be hampered by limited skilled workers. Measures to employ more apprentices expected to take 18 months as the renovation and commercial areas boom.
We've got, if you like, all 3 areas booming as well as the civil area, and so the 22,000 was enough to build 3,000 homes 7 or 8 years ago, but it's not now with all the other work that's there. Short-stay accommodation won't be taxed as the sharing economy remains largely unregulated.
We're encouraging each state to try and take a uniform approach to this, because we don't think that there is value in having multiple different kinds of ways of doing it.
Tasmania's way yet to be realised. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
The makeup of Tasmania's next parliament is clearer as the election count continued today. The distribution of preferences has dashed the Liberals' hopes of an extra seat. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson joins us now. Jacqueline, good evening. How has the fall of preferences affected the government?
Well, Joe, it essentially means the Liberals have the slimmest of majorities, with just a single seat margin giving them power on the floor of Parliament's lower house. The Liberals' incumbent in Franklin, Nick Street, was neck and neck with the Greens' Rosalie Woodruff, but the carve-up of preferences today didn't go his way. That also means the Greens now have a second seat in Parliament, but they've lost Andrea Dawkins in Baz. They're now well below parliamentary party status. In Braddon, Burnie Mayor Anita Dow has been secured, while Roger Yench has edged out Liberal colleague Joan Ryler. For Denison, Madeline Ogilvie has lost her seat, with it going to fellow Labor candidate Ella Haddad. Hobart's Lord Mayor, or soon-to-be former Lord Mayor Sue Hickey, has been confirmed elected for the Liberals. In Labor's tussle in Lyons, Jen Butler is pulling away from Janet Lambert by more than 300 votes, and a result is likely very soon. So, Joe, with much of the results now clear, plans have been locked in for the declaration of poll ceremonies Monday and tomorrow. Back, Joe.
Jacqueline, thank you very much for that update. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Firefighters say it's extremely lucky a Tasmanian couple was able to escape a burning house in the early hours of this morning. The occupants in the Riverside home woke to the sound of smashing windows. The fire so ferocious it forced neighbours to also evacuate.
At 2:30 this morning, Riverside residents woke to this. Giant flames engulfing a 2-storey Dion Crescent home as anxious neighbours watched on.
It was shocking actually anyway. I feel terrible for the people.
The 2 residents made it out alive through the back door, but firefighters say they were extremely lucky.
The occupants are very fortunate. There were smoke alarms that were tested and the batteries were replaced in April last year. They didn't sound, however they woke to the sound of glass breaking.
It's understood the couple, who were grandparents, initially thought their home was being broken into. Investigators spent most of today sifting through the rubble, trying to uncover what caused this much damage. The result, a 4-outlet power board. The Tasmania Fire Service now warning homeowners to ensure cords are switched off at the power point.
When crews arrived, the house was fully involved, the roof had collapsed and they evacuated the neighbours with concerns that fire would spread to the neighbouring properties.
Noticed the smoke and then so I came downstairs, looked around here, but by that stage there were just flames just leaping out of the 2 top front windows.
Nearby residents say the house was only renovated in recent years, but now it will need to be completely demolished, with damage estimated at more than $400,000. And as the owners work to pick up the pieces, they're also still looking for one of their pet cats, who ran away when the blaze started. A long rebuild ahead for what was previously a picturesque riverfront home. Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Dairy farmers from across the state have gathered to learn how to progress the industry. International and mainland speakers addressing the 200 Tasmanian Dairy Conference attendees. Farmers hearing how drones can make their dairy operation easier to handle and how improving animal fertility will improve farm profits.
A key message out of today's discussion is change is inevitable. If you've only got to go back in the last couple of years to see how much the industry has changed, and some of the innovation sessions suggest that that change is here to stay.
The conference wraps up tonight with the announcement of the Tasmanian Dairy Award winners. Tasmanian authorities are honing their fire investigation skills with a week-long training exercise. While most people see nothing but charred remnants of a blaze, they see hidden clues of fire behaviour.
Investigators look through the remains of mock fire scenes, trying to pinpoint their cause. 3 rooms have been set up as realistically as possible to simulate real fire situations.
Today last night we burnt 3 rooms, a lounge room, a bedroom and an office, and today the groups will be processing those scenes.
Despite the destruction and blackened rubble, investigators are able to use experience, teamwork and science to identify the causes of these fires. 1 room was set up as a deliberate fire, another as an accidental fire. A blaze in the other room was triggered by an electrical fault. All common causes of house fires.
Well, most accidental fires occur due to heating, so we encourage people to have your clothes at least 2 metres away from the heater, regardless of what type of heater. Check your appliances, make sure they're in correct working order.
The course aims to highlight the importance of the TFS teaming up with the police to help stamp out arson. Authorities making it clear they can find hidden evidence.
Forensic evidence, which is still fire investigation evidence, there's always things left at a scene no matter how careful people are, and they're the things that we're trained to look for and piece together to tell a story.
The task now to replaster and refurnish the rooms, setting up for another realistic training course in May. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
Well, he's played for the Danish royal family and packed out concerts around the world. Now, Tasmanian rocker Rob Tognoni will play his first local gig in nearly 30 years when he takes to the stage at the Forth Valley Blues Festival.
A globe-trotting rocker from the coast returns to his roots. Rob Tognoni was born and bred in Turners Beach. His passion for power chords began in his early teens when a famous Aussie band shook the Devonport Recreation Centre all night long.
AC/DC, that was my first time that I'd seen a big band in 1975. Saw Angus and Malcolm playing and Bond doing his thing, and I went, that's exactly what I want to do.
His upcoming set at the Forth Valley Blues Festival will be his first gig back home in nearly 3 decades. He's more of a household name in Europe, where the expat has built a loyal fan base, which includes the Crown Prince of Denmark, who invited Tognoni to play before his wedding with Mary Donaldson.
It was in a stadium of about 50,000, so it was a bit of a big deal. Actually, my biggest gig I've ever done.
This year's Blues Festival will be headlined by Hunters and Collectors frontman Mark Seymour. Around 2,000 people attended last year's event.
There's probably 9 months of phone calls, emails to pack it in for 19 hours of music. So, but it's worth it. It's great.
The two-day festival is in its 21st year and kicks off tomorrow night. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower for a third consecutive day as a soft lead from the US was compounded by further falls by the big four banks. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 14.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.69 US cents and 63.54 euro cents.
The Tasmanian Tigers are in the box seat after day 2 of their Sheffield Shield clash with Victoria, dismissing the visitors for a first innings total of 182. Now back in bat, the home side were 4 for 73 at stumps a short time ago and leading by 235 runs.
It didn't take long for the Bushrangers to clean up the Tigers' bottom order, with Andrew Feckerty the last to fall. But thanks to the home side's efforts with the bat on day 1, the visitors found themselves with a huge task ahead as Feckerty quickly got his revenge.
Bit of movement there, and that's out. What a start for Tasmania. Feckerty picks up a wicket with his very first ball of the morning.
And just as Marcus Harris began to look dangerous, Feckerty struck again.
And that's edged straight to the magnet in second slip. Great catch there by Bo Webster.
Jackson Bird soon found his range, dismissing danger man Aaron Finch on 11. And when Feckerty claimed his third for the day in Glenn Maxwell, the visitors were damaged goods. Hobart Hurricane Dan Christian the only shining light as the rest of the Bushrangers' order crumbled around him.
Oh, and he's got him. And he brings back with another wicket Andrew Feckerty.
Feckerty soon had his 5th scalp for the day and didn't have to wait much longer for number 6.
And that's first slip. What a bowling display from Andrew Feckerty.
Tom Rogers adding to his impressive haul of wickets for the season, claiming the final 2 of the innings, with the Bushrangers all done on 182. The Tigers' hopes of a walkover taking a slight hit when Peter Siddle trapped Doolan on 4 early in the piece, followed by Bo Webster a short time later.
After the most tumultuous few months in the organisation's history, the start of the Tasmanian State League couldn't come soon enough. And despite just 7 teams now taking part, clubs are promising one of the most competitive seasons in recent times.
Just 2 weeks to go until one of the most talked about TSL seasons in Tasmanian football history.
All the boys are raring to go. You can even see it throughout the practice matches so far. Everyone's just ready for round 1. Can't wait for it.
With Burnie and Devonport folding in the off-season, the competition will venture into unfamiliar territory in 2018.
The clubs would love to see more people come along and watch, and what we know is that people engage in footy in different ways. We've got a new app for people to connect with, and we'll continue to live stream.
But despite its adversities, Bupa has signed on as the league's new major sponsor, with the company's head of marketing development and Tasmanian Football Hall of Famer Peter Hudson confident about the investment.
My attitude is that we're in there at junior level, grassroots level, community level, and that's where we want to put our energies.
The season kicks off on Good Friday with North Hobart taking on the Tigers and the Bombers hosting crosstown rivals the Blues. As for the early season premiership predictions, most clubs were in agreement.
Obviously Launceston are going to be big improvers, and everyone knows what North Launceston's like.
It'd have to be one of the northern teams, wouldn't it? I'd probably pick Launceston.
We know where we want to be, so if people want to put us there on the pedestal, it is what it is. So we've got our own little bubble at the footy club where we try to stay in.
Obviously teams are talking about us too, but yeah, I guess we'll find out in round 1.
It will be a clash of the Tasmanian NPL Titans tomorrow night when North Hobart Oval hosts a season opener between Hobart Zebras and last season's champions South Hobart, who've already been touted as heavy favourites to go back-to-back.
We're only favourites on paper, you know, it comes to how we perform on the pitch week in and week out.
Well, the Zebras have been bolstered by the inclusion of several new imports, along with arguably the league's best player and former Olympia striker Jakob Sklenar.
We can expect like good quality football because all the imports who came in, it's got a quality, it's got experience, and that's basically what we need. We need to be very competitive this year.
The match kicks off at 7:45 p.m. following the Women's Super League opener. To hockey, and Tasmania has suffered 2 heavy losses at the Under-18 National Championship. A penalty goal to Josh Brooks late in the boys' match against Victoria salvaged some pride as the home side went down to Victoria 7-3. Joe Murphy scored Tasmania's other 2 goals. The side is sitting 3rd on the table in its pool. Meanwhile, in a lopsided contest, Tasmania's girls team lost to Queensland 11-0.
Good evening. Hobart 19 today. Launceston recorded 21, Burnie 22 and Devonport a top of 20 degrees. Temperatures were mostly below average, the central and south more so. Smithton and Friendly Beaches 21 degrees, Flinders Island and St Helens 20, King Island, Low Head and Campania all 19 today, Grove, Ouse and Strawn 18, and as a few light showers moved over the west, south and northeast, just 3 millimetres the highest reading at Timshay and Low Rocky Point. Those showers today due to this cloud that swept over the state, fairly strong airstream across Tasmania from a trough to the north and a cold front to the south. Further north, most of the cloud to the north sat over the southern ocean and the southern parts of the mainland. Also plenty of cloud just off the east coast, moving up there with that ex-tropical cyclone. There's tomorrow's chart. A high establishes to the southeast of Tasmania, a weak trough over eastern Australia. Another trough lies over WA, linked to a low to the south ahead of the next cold front. South to southeasterly winds. They'll be at 10 to 20 knots, tending easterly through Bass Strait, winds turning northeasterly by late afternoon tomorrow. We'll have afternoon sea breezes over the western swells to 4 metres. Checking out tomorrow's forecast, Hobart partly cloudy and 20, 19 the top for Huonville, bit of cloud for Campania as well, and 20 degrees. Launceston showers developing, 90% chance of rain, 20 the top, 20 also for Devonport, Georgetown, showers increasing and 17 the maximum. Burnie, showers increasing as well, 20 the top, 20 also for Strawn and showers also for Wynyard, 20 degrees. And for eastern areas, St Helens, showers on the way, 19 the top, 18 for Swansea with a late shower, Port Arthur similar forecast and 20 degrees. UV sitting lower than it has been but still rated as high right across the state for tomorrow. Now for the weekend, early showers easing before a warm afternoon. Swansea looking at 29 and Hobart 28. On Sunday, showery again early before clearing to the west. The winds picking up again, temperatures dropping a bit though from Saturday. And on Monday, showers over the southwest extending statewide during the morning, fresh to strong northwest to westerly winds. Partly cloudy conditions but remaining fine for Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne and Canberra. Sydney cloudy as well, a top of 26 degrees. A sunny 31 in Brisbane and 36 for Alice Springs. And right here and right now, a bit showery over Hobart and 13 currently, clear in Launceston, 20 at the moment, and Devonport partly cloudy and 20. Those showery forecasts, Joe, will be pleasant news for quite a few people, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure they will, Murph. Thank you very much for that. And that is all from the team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.